This is my evening recap real quick. First day of the quarter and it was bloody. Some things that I'm seeing in the markets. We broke the 200-day moving average on the SPY. Very first day of the week. Not a good situation. And we broke the primary weekly channel that was based way back in 2016. Really looking scary for the markets for the first day of the quarter. Your Qs really took it on the chin today, but we are still holding the 200-day moving average. Came down, touched it, got a little bit of bounce there at the end of the day, and we are in the primary channel that's been 2016, the weekly channel, but we did come down and tag the channel support as of today, first day of the quarter. Similar situation for your Russell, sitting right on the primary weekly channel, first day of the quarter, and a 200-day moving average. And then finally, with the major indices, we closed right above the 200-day moving average on our diamonds, and we are showing a little bit more relative strength on the diamonds because of the 200 days up inside the primary channel. I think that's what's helping support it a little bit more here. But we do have a little bit more room to the downside if we want to test the bottom end of the range for the diamonds. Okay, I had thought about taking some swing shorts overnight, but then I saw at the end of the day we were getting some call flows, some sizable call flows actually into the close. So I'm thinking tomorrow we're probably going to open up green on the market. And one thing I do follow are the capital inflows and outflows from market on close stock order imbalances. And today, basically at the end, big money, it's hard for them to sell their positions, and so they sell it throughout the day, and then at the end of the day, any balances that are left over, they have to force liquidation, that situation. Well, today that wasn't the case. In fact, if you scroll down right here, let's get this to go here. What we saw at the end of the day, a $1.2 million buy into the markets by big money, into the close. People are willing at these levels they're wanting to accumulate stocks at these prices. And as you can see here, we've been really in a very bearish tone about inflows for some time now, and we're just about to go positive. As of tomorrow, likely, we're going to be turning positive more, where cash inflows could start to come back into these markets. And, this is one of the lowest reads we have had for the last month. I mean, you can see we've had some substantial outflows in the markets, and that those flows are just about to turn positive. The moving average is about to turn positive, and we already have bullish flows coming in. Let me reiterate that. So, pushing your bets to the bearish side. Let me show you the sentiment reading too. The put to call ratio, this is our sentiment gauge for how the markets are positioned going into the rest of the week. And we are getting into some excessive pessimism range for the markets. I know it's day one for the quarter, so we could actually have a just completely fall apart come tomorrow. But my point is, as of today, as of close, there were buyers stepping up trying to support these levels. And knowing that the foreign equities are probably going to buy in on the dip overnight, and we'll probably see us gapping up tomorrow morning, in my opinion. If history is any type of indication of how the markets work overnight. Now, this is the first day of the quarter, and we just don't know how much big money is out there willing to sell. But my point is, my bias right now is that the market's going to open higher tomorrow and the volatility is going to come in somewhat. Some stocks that I'm really keeping a close eye on, one for definitely is Intel Corporation. The options call buyers have been very strong on this stock. And we had news today that, which has not been completely validated yet, that Apple is going to quit using the Intel chips in their phones. And it may or may not be a reliable source, but this thing it immediately took a nosedive off that news press release. And then we immediately saw some right near the low, we saw call buyers just lining up to prop this stock up. So, of all stocks that have the most potential to the upside tomorrow, I would say potentially Intel, especially if it turns out to be fake news. So, just keep this one on your watch list for a potential bullish reversal tomorrow. And this is one of the few stocks that I thought was going to make new all-time highs. But in this bearish environment, it's hard for any stocks to be doing that. So just keep this one on your watch, in my opinion. Another stock that I was seeing some interest today, that was Gilead Sciences. It came right down to this trend line, and immediately they started loading up on the June 80 calls. So for going into earnings. So that's something you may want to keep on your watch list going into tomorrow. Another stock catching more interest, and that's Melco. And this is a casino stock. And like we said, we had very strong numbers out of China that was posted over the weekend. This one sold off on the day, but so they bought them early, but they sold off in the day. They were buying the April 2030 calls. So somebody thinks that there's a potential breakout setting up here for Melco. It has been consolidating for quite some time here, and we did get a sell-off on the last earnings season. But somebody was putting quite a bit of wood up to say that the casinos, I did go overnight long with Wynn Resorts. And at these levels, I think Wynn Resorts has a potential bounce possibility tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. I just took a small position. But at the 50% fib, I'm willing to give an overnight play, even with very bearish sentiment going on in the markets, for a potential reversal higher. Calls were quite active for Micron Technologies. Now, the Qs just got decimated today. And I did point out the Qs are at a channel range low. I did have an alert go off on this today for a potential long setup. We are testing the breakout levels, the recent breakout levels. We are testing it right here, right now. We should be seeing some responsive buying showing up here because they had outstanding numbers on earnings and guidance. So if the markets were to catch a bid, I can see this as a buy point for Micron Technologies. One of the few stocks that I saw quite a bit of interest today, that was Sohu.com. It's a Chinese company, and we got a substantial bid, above average volume. They were really loading up on the call side for Sohu down here at this price point on an extremely horrible tape of the day. So this is something you may want to start keeping an eye on. Let me look and see what the strike was. Yeah, they were buying the June 40 calls up here to the cloud. So if that gives you some idea, that is a substantial. That's basically a 35% premium. They're thinking the stock's going to move 30% before the June expiration. So something to keep on your watch. Very bullish action in Sohu. Now, on a horrible tape today, GameStop just had earnings last week, and it gapped down on those earnings. And we saw massive accumulation in the calls before the earnings. And today, on a horrible tape, we're still seeing accumulation in the calls on GameStop. So just keep this one on your radar, that this is actually acting different than what you would think on a bad or a weak earnings report. So somebody's wanting to own GameStop at these price levels. Now I'm going to finish it off with talking about Apple here. The puts were very active today on Apple. We have the 61.8% fib that and the cloud we found some support today. But I'm thinking this 200-day moving average is just acting as a significant magnet for Apple. So, and until it finally gets down to this, we're probably going to see some weakness in the markets. So just keep this in mind. They were just loading the boat on Apple, and probably rightfully so. So this is the one reason I do think there's risk that we gap down tomorrow for Apple to come down here and at least test the 200-day moving average. I don't think the bottom's in for this main reason because Apple, uh, in my opinion, needs to test this level before we can get some responsive selling or buying in the indices. I really do love seeing that big buyers do seem to be stepping up on the end of day balances. Uh, so there's people accumulating at these prices, and that tells me we're probably closer to a bottom than what most people would otherwise realize. Okay, that's all I got to say this evening. Tune in again tomorrow for my morning brief around 7, 8 o'clock. I look at what's going on in the morning and I check the value areas in relation to price and stuff to give you an idea which way I think the markets are going and stuff. I nailed it this morning, so the morning brief is really important. So if you guys get a chance, be sure and tune in to the morning briefs. At any rate, be sure and leave comments at the bottom of my video, and I'll see you on the flip side tomorrow.